All right, I thought this was really good. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar does an interview on MSNBC.
NBA's all-time leading scorer, six-time MVP, Hall of Famer Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. All that, though, prologue this morning because he's now a best-selling author and columnist for Time magazine. He's out today with a new book called Writings on the Wall, Searching for a New Equality Beyond Black and White.
And Eddie's beyond himself.
I've never seen him.
We'll ask a question and then step aside for Eddie, who's a huge fan.
I don't think
Kareem opens the book writing about the importance of the Constitution. He writes, quote, "Too often people who are all puffed up on their own ideals of patriotism propose actions that are contrary to what the country stands for in an effort to codify their personal beliefs as law. These are America's greatest threats. The genius of the Constitution in that it was written by men who acknowledge their own frailties and biases." Kareem, good morning. Congratulations on the book. You say you wrote this book because you want to reopen a discussion about what it means to be American. What do you mean by that?
Well, I think we have to get back to understanding what the Founding Fathers were all about. They realized that everybody had an opinion, and everybody was entitled to their opinion, but they had to agree on some facts and then work from that point on to figure out a way to put our country together and keep it together. So this whole process requires that we talk to each other with respect and an open mind, because until you understand me, how are we going to come to find common ground and talk about something?
Right. And you also talk about how you wanted to write a book of hope with concrete solutions, and you have a pretty tough truth to tell on racism, and specifically on ending racism. You say it's just not going to happen. Let's lower expectations. Explain that.
Well, we have to understand just what human nature is all about, and how it is common for no matter who you are, what your color is, people who don't look exactly like you cause you to feel a need for caution and stuff, and that's something we always have to overcome, and plus the cultural differences. So understanding that will enable us maybe to slow down a little bit and listen to what's being said instead of reacting to our own fears, because it kills all rational thought.
So this book drops in a particularly interesting moment. Milwaukee explodes.
Yes.
Right. The police officer who killed Philando Castile was just recently hired. He's back on the job again. Black Lives Matter, bringing pressure, interrupting, right, business as usual in this country. How will this text help us understand what we said on this show, a nation that's on edge? How will it help us respond to the current crisis around race, or the latest disaster around race in this country?
I think it's going to help us in so far as we can understand that the people that we're all involved in this with are our fellow citizens. And we have to live together. It's not like we're going to move to Canada or South America someplace. We live here. We have to understand each other and get along in a way that enables us to move forward. And that requires listening to the other side and finding common ground.
What are the causes of inequality? You go into it. What did you find the causes of inequality?
I think just the whole history of our country that put certain segments of American society behind. Black Americans are way behind economically because they were not allowed to earn money for so long. And then after the Civil War, they still were repressed and kept in a subservient position. And this has led to chronic poverty, and poverty itself is a huge burden that Black Americans have struggled with for so long. So we have a lot of work to do. That's one of the things that Dr. King said, before he died. We have a huge list of things that still need to be done before we get to the point where America is functioning for everybody.
Kareem, as somebody who's spent most of his life as a social activist, go back to the '68 Olympics that you boycotted, what do you make of the role athletes are starting to play now? It feels to me anyway, high-profile athletes more and more stepping into these conversations. You have LeBron James coming out talking about Black Lives Matter. Carmelo Anthony, after they won the gold medal, I thought it was an amazing moment in an interview, broke down crying, not just because he'd won a gold medal, but he said, our country has big problems, but we've got to get unified. Did you see a risk in your life and your career to being the guy who would step forward and do that?
There were risks involved, but I think I accomplished a lot more than I risked.
Yeah.
You know, I think just by raising awareness and letting people know that these issues mean a lot, and they have long-term implications for what's going to happen in our country. We have to acknowledge that and work hard not to let the bad things happen. Mr. Santayana, you know, who said that those who do not understand history are condemned to repeating it, he was absolutely on point there. And we have to remember that, because history is the best tool that we have for avoiding the bad mistakes that have been made in the past.
It seems that we're running deficits of courage to do the work that you're calling for. How do we muster the courage to look the ugliness of what we are squarely in the face?
I think courage is an issue, but I think also people don't want to reach in their pockets. It's going to be expensive. It's going to cost a lot, and people try to avoid that, especially politicians. They don't want to tell their constituents that, geez, taxes are a necessary evil if we're going to have the society that we want. And I think that is a big issue that people kind of dance around.
The book is Writings on the Wall, Searching for a New Equality Beyond Black and White. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, thank you. Great to have you on the show.
Thank you so much.
Talking with you.
Appreciate it. We love having you.
Up next.
All right, I think that was a really good interview.